Hi, I'm Kevin Mack from Krav Maga Nation based in Philadelphia. We have schools in Center City, Philadelphia, and out in Bucks County, 10 minutes outside of the city. This next technique is one of those things that we teach here to kind of show you the consistency of movement in Krav Maga. The first thing is going to be your basic wrist releases that you see in yellow belt and orange belt in some curriculums. That's a soft technique. It's a release. And the next one is going to show you on the ground somebody controlling your legs, and I'm going to show you the consistency. Some other instructors may have different variations for this type of technique. My application is based on it has to be consistent with what we do. That's the beauty of Krav Maga. Every technique we do may not be the best technique in the world. I kind of think some things are, but people ask me, what about this knife defense from Kali, or what about this gun defense? Our technique, that might not be the best technique that we do, but it's the best technique for us. Meaning it fits the principles of Krav Maga. It's easy to learn. It's something that works for a bigger guy and a smaller guy. It doesn't require strength or attributes. And it ties in with other techniques. Because in Krav Maga, instead of having 500 solutions to 500 problems, we have 50 solutions to 500 problems. So that if you do one thing one way, it'll apply to a variety of other different situations. So your basic wrist release in Krav Maga, we have several positions. The first one is same side to same side. The other one is cross side. So he's grabbing me here and this hand's free. Then we have two hands on one. This is what I teach in yellow belt. Those are the only 3 wrist releases I do. Then other than that, you have 2 hands high, then you have 2 hands low. They're a little bit more, not really advanced, but they're just less common attacks. But right now, somebody grabs you here, somebody grabs you here, somebody grabs you with 2 hands. He could also be turned around, and I could be grabbing him here, pulling him in. And if you know the basic principles, you can figure out solutions based on what we do for just this basic reference point. Just like gun, we have like 5 or 6 reference points, but there's thousands of different situations you could be in. But as long as you know the principles and the techniques, you can figure out solutions. So right now, Eric's grabbing me same side, same side. The rule of thumb is the fact that wherever his grip is, and I can come in here so you can see, the weakest part of his grip is where the thumb and the forefinger meet. It's this gap here. Some people are strong, bigger hands can reach around, but this is his weakest part of his grip. My thumb is where I get the power. We always try to aim the thumb to wherever the gap is. So it's almost like the sight on a gun. I like to aim my thumb towards that direction. So even if he has me like this, I rotate my thumb towards that gap. I want to ideally bring my thumb to my chest, but I don't just do that. I have to resist the urge to pull. That's what people do. Somebody grabs you, you want to pull, and you want to use strength, and you get extended, and you have no strength. I want to bring this thumb to my chest in a horizontal manner, but I want to utilize my entire body in a dynamic movement. So it's this, right? It's not that. My posture does not stay the same while I'm pulling. I am driving inwards. We like to say, bring my elbow to his elbow. But sometimes with beginner students, if you're an instructor, you'll find people starting to hit people with their elbow. It's no longer a soft technique then. This is a soft defense. This is offering peace from a position of strength. This guy's grabbed me. He's made that initial connection we like to talk about, but I don't feel he's a threat. If he's a threat, I'm going to hit him. His hand's occupied. I am not going to try to do a fancy wrist release elbow strike. I'm just going to hit him with the hand I have free. So it's a soft technique, so I don't want to hit him, but I have to make this dynamic. So I'm bringing my entire body behind my arm. I'm exaggerating it a little bit, but I want my head over this. So my entire weight of my body is being yanked out of this little tiny grip. All right? So this little tiny grip is not just the strength of the arm being yanked out, it's the whole body behind it. Now, I haven't turned around. Now it's the opposite side. Same rule applies. This is the weakest grip. That thumb has to go there. So the thumb goes out. The elbow stays in. Otherwise, if the elbow moves, my arm is being extended, and I'm fighting strength against strength. It's technique. My elbow is going out. I'm aiming my thumb. It's just like I'm pointing to something around my arm. I don't want to go over my shoulder. I want to go out. If I go over my shoulder like this way, it means my thumb's going over his thumb, and it's strong. It has no place to go. It's being stopped. But if it rotates towards that gap, then the thumb's coming out of that grip, and my elbow is coming out. But everything's dynamic in Krav Maga. Just like he chokes me with 2 hands and I'm doing my plucking defense. It is not this. I'm not peeling his hands off. I am plucking. It's dynamic. It's one movement. Make it fist. Eric can resist me here with all my weight. Okay, resist me. Resist me. All right? But if I just do this, resist me. Resist me. The dynamic movement is what's going to let it go. So if he's grabbing here and I try to do this, try to pull away, I'm not going to get it. But if I just do this. So as that arm comes out, the whole body kind of comes behind it. I'm using a whiplash motion, so all my weight is pulling the wrist release out. So make sure, no matter where the arm is going, the thumb is pointing in that direction, in the gap. It's like the magic rings the magician does. He covers up the little gap, and the only way he can get the rings separated is to find that weak point. And this is the weak point. And I have to use the weight of my entire body to get past that. When it's 2-on-1, it's the exact same thing. But I need a power assist. Because he has the strength of 2 arms, and I have the strength of 1 arm. So I am making a fist, I am reaching my hand over, and then I'm doing the disarm. But just like I did before, and once again I'm exaggerating a little bit, it is not the strength of both my arms, because that's still weak. Now we're equal. Strength of 2, the strength of 2. But now he has my entire body behind it. You have to be careful not being too close to the guy. I'll exaggerate that to show you that you need to be there. But this is where you need to be. All right? This is what you can teach the kids against an adult, bigger, stronger person. You do this defense. Make sure it's horizontal, though. You don't want to power assist into your own face. So you power assist out and make this a horizontal attack. That's your basic concept. So now even if Eric is there and he's grabbing me here, I just have to get my thumb to where the weakest part of his grip is. If it's the other hand, it's the same thing. I'm just making that going to wherever that weakest link is. You can figure it out. On the ground, if he grabs my legs, same rules apply. And everybody may come up with a wide variety of situations where you can do this, but this keeps you exposed. So not only do I want to get my leg free, but I want to be loaded to kick. My toes replicate my thumb. Wherever the grip is weakest, where his fingers meet, my toes are pointing in that direction. And then I'm bringing my knee up. You want to have your knees bent. Whenever you're on the ground and doing arm bars and things, having your legs extended does nothing. I can't pull back, I can't kick, I can't do anything. But if my knees are bent, as soon as he grabs me, I'm bringing it out here, and then I'm loading up the kick. I am aiming the toes towards that grip and pulling out. My hip is loaded, and then I'm kicking to the face, kicking to the groin. And it's a little counterintuitive, because I know a lot of people want to pull away, and they feel they have a lot of power to do that, instead of turning inwards. But I can bring my knee up higher to my face here and get a lot more power, and now it's loaded for a kick. I don't want to do this and have him either push me aside and take the dead side and kick me in my face, or to have him kick my groin and stay in. So I want to get my leg released and then kick to the chin. My leg's getting released, getting kicked to the chin. Even if it's just one hand, we're on 2 there, all I have to do is bring my heel to the ground too. I'm just stomping and then kicking. It's the same thing. If he was to catch a kick, I would just bring my heel down and then come up. Just one hand. It's the same thing. I can do this, or I can do this and then stomp, or even come out that way. I can aim the heel to that grip as well. You can do that when it's that side. But if you're here, you can't kick this into your own leg. So that's when you come here and you load up. Because then you want to be in this position to be able to attack and load up your strikes. You can do the same thing with long gun. If I have a long gun and he grabs the gun, we don't have it here, but you just do the same wrist releases. You pull the gun out of the weakest part of his grip and you use that to attack. So once you know the principles of finding the weakest part of his grip, you can figure out the defense. And I show you the basics. Coming in 2-on-1s here, 2 on high, and ducks down. It's the same thing. And this is how a lot of fights, you may argue that some fights start standing. Other people say fights end up on the ground. All fights start, everything starts with some sort of connection. A wrist grab, a shirt grab, a throat grab, hair grab. There's all these different things. Somebody grabbing your pant leg, somebody trying to pass your guard, trying to control your legs. Remember, when somebody's standing and you're on the ground on your back, the only thing saving you is keeping him in your ground guard. Basically, keeping him between your legs, whether you're here and coming up and kicking, you need to use your kicks to keep him away from you. If he passes your guard and gets past your legs, he's now on your dead side. This is what we train for. We train to get past these legs because they're kicking. They're trying to lock me. They're trying to take me down. They're trying to sweep me. And if he does that, then I'm free. Now he comes here and he throws me this way. And now he has my skull to stomp. I want to get my legs free and load up kicks and stay here and then eventually get up. So it's just a utilization of basic wrist lock principles on the ground using your legs. You know, try to just use your thumb to aim towards the weakest part of his grip. Use the strongest part of yours, which is keeping the elbows in and keeping it in tight, making a dynamic movement, using your whole body. We had a girl ask a question today. She said, what about this? Guys grabbing you here. It's the same thing, but use this L block that we do to block it in. So it is similar to a wrestler's shrug. So he's got the grip here, and I shrug and I trap and I do a 2-on-1. It's the same thing if I'm grabbing here. This is not going to be strong enough because he's got a good firm grip. So I'm aiding that with my rotational defense that we use in Krav Maga. So he's grabbing here, I rotate in and I hit. If it's the same side, and he's grabbing the outside of my bicep here, it's the same thing. You know, all I have to do is this, that works, but I could do this, or I could just do this and come out. So you have to know where these gaps are and where you can use power to help you to get it out. Now I'm using my entire body and leaning into them as opposed to just using my arm. He's now trying to grip my entire body. That's why Krav Maga is a principle-based system. That's why you have to learn the boring stuff. Wrist locks are really boring. You know, certain soft techniques, t-shirt grabs, I would come into class and I'm like, oh, I can't believe we're doing that again. Those are fundamental techniques that show you principles and they might save you. This is probably way more likely to happen than somebody holding a knife to your throat like this in your life at some point. Don't let people control you. It's not always rude to not shake somebody's hand. If you're a dark alley, a guy comes up, shakes your hand, don't give him that handle. Don't give him the grab, don't give him the wrist, don't give him the tricep. Don't give him any grips. Fight out of it, be dynamic, use the weakest part of his grip, be strong, be smart in Krav Maga. Thanks.